To commemorate the founding of New Orleans in 1718, WYES presents this tricentennial moment in celebration of our city's past and present.
In 1828 and 1831, New Orleans had a visitor who would alter both the city and the country's history. Along with a Captain Gentry, a young Abraham Lincoln took a modest flatboat down the Ohio and on to the Mississippi River.
Starting in the early 1800s, you have thousands of young Western men, kind of almost as a rite of passage, proving their manhood and their responsibility and their nettle by building a flatboat, taking their dad's and their uncles' surplus commodities, figuring out how to navigate the river, which was so difficult, coming down with the current just on a flatboat.
The trip was a hard one, but worth it.
So you'd have these young men flush with cash. They would spend a couple of weeks in the city, and then they would take a steamboat, at least after the 18 teens when steamboats are in place, they would take a steamboat back home. And Lincoln did exactly that.
An overnight stop before Lincoln and Gentry arrived in the city proved to be almost fatal.
I should report that he came very close to getting murdered the night before he first set foot in New Orleans. And flatboatmen lived very risky lives. First of all, there were the currents and the unknowns of the river hitting an eddy, these planters and sawyers, these trees bobbing in the water that could knock you over. Right around Convent, Louisiana, he and his captain, Allen Gentry, tied up for the night, and they were attacked by 7 marauders. And there was a violent fight, and one of the bandits clubbed him above probably the right temple or the right ear. As soon as day breaks, they hightail it for New Orleans.
For the young Lincoln, visiting New Orleans and the outlying areas was an eye-opening experience.
And they would have seen a complex and exciting and smoky and muddy and noisy place. The cityscape of New Orleans would have been replete with evidence of the slave trade.
WYS's New Orleans Tricentennial Moments are brought to you by the Miro Foundation and presented in association with the Historic New Orleans Collection.